Welcome, everybody. Welcome to The Tonight Show. You're here. You're watching. Thank you. Let's get to some news, guys. This week, in a company memo, the CEO of Delta Airlines refused to use the term Delta variant and only referred to the virus by its scientific name. I guess it explains why pilots have been saying, "Welcome aboard. Thank you for flying B16172 Airlines." Apparently, he's afraid that if he says Delta too many times, the virus will show up like Candyman. Yeah, he's doing anything he can to distance Delta from the variant. Today, he said, from now on, our airline's pronounced Delta. That's right, Delta is in a pretty weird situation, but this is nice. Another company just released a message of support. Watch this.
We sympathize with Delta CEO Ed Bastian. Hang in there. The only piece of advice we could offer is to be patient, and before long, your company name won't be associated with something so horrific.
A message from Ebola Farms Baked Goods and Treats. Put a little Ebola in your day.
Yeah. Ebola Farms. I love that bread.
I love Ebola Farms.
Yeah, that's the best. And they make bread.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I just thought it was a farm.
Yeah. You think it'd be a bakery. You think it'd be Ebola Bakery or something.
Got a bunch of pretzels, anything you want.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They're going
Great.
full,
Oh, my God.
any type of carb?
Any kind of
product?
carb, any kind of baked bread. They got strudel. Oh, delicious.
Oh, strudel.
Delicious.
Guys, get this. A new report found that nearly all U.S. government agencies are using facial recognition technology. Americans were like, whoa, I don't want something scanning my face, and then went back to pulling down their mask to unlock their phones. Yeah, most U.S. government agencies are now using some form of facial recognition technology. But unfortunately, it's having a little trouble correctly identifying people's faces. And some can't even recognize members of Congress. I'll show you what I mean. For example, it thought Congressman Austin Scott was the 40-year-old virgin. You see what I mean?
Wow.
They're not recognizing.
Yeah, it's not working right.
No, it's not working correctly. Next up, it thought Congressman Dean Phillips was Doug Funny.
Really? That's not even a real person.
What?
That's a cartoon.
I know it's a cartoon, but
Wow, this is not working well at all.
can we see that again just to make sure it's not working?
Wow, it's not working. You're right.
Next, it thought Congressman Sam Graves was that carnival game with the clown face.
Oh,
I mean, it's just totally not working.
that's not good at all.
No, it's not good. It thought Congressman Don Young was the owner of Jurassic Park. And you got that?
Really?
That's not even. It's a movie.
Oh, my
It's-
God,
yeah.
Richard
It thought
Attenborough.
Senator Roger Marshall was Ross when his teeth got whitened.
Oh, my goodness. That seems ridiculous.
It thought Congressman Brad Sherman was George Costanza.
Oh, wow.
And finally, it thought Congressman Derek Kilmer was Beaker. And there you go, that's just it. We're working out some kinks. Well, this is fun. This is a fun story. I saw that the company is selling a miniature replica of the rocket that took Jeff Bezos to space. Here it is. Yep, there it is. Anxiously awaiting to probe your galaxy. Seriously, I don't even think you could show that on OnlyFans.
You think it's hard to get?
What's that?
Is it hard to get that?
Yeah, a little.
A little hard to get?
A little bit, yeah.
I bet you have a ball playing with that. Great.
You think people have a ball playing with it?
Yeah, fantastic. You think his whole staff got together to get that design down?
Yeah, congrats to the whole staff. Yeah, I mean, it's,
God.
yeah.
This whole bit is a fallacy. Let's move on.
Some entertainment news. Netflix just released a documentary. How can I even tell jokes after
Oh,
that?
my God.
Netflix just released a documentary about legendary painter Bob Ross that claims to show the dark side of his life and legacy. It's called Bob Ross, Happy Accidents, Betrayal, and Greed. Really, Netflix? Do we really need this? I mean, what's next? Betty White, secret serial killer. Why? Hey, get this. I heard about some grocery stores in Pennsylvania that are all dealing with the same unique issue. Check this out.
Police in multiple counties are investigating thefts at a grocery store because someone is stealing 3-foot-tall Snoop Dogg bobbleheads. Police aren't sure if the thefts are connected.
When reached for a comment, Snoop said, "Stop robbing my bobble, baby Bubba. Stop robbing my bobble. Stop robbing my bobble, baby Bubba." Thank you. And finally, stop robbing my bobble. Stop robbing my bobble, baby Bubba. Finally, a video from, this is funny, a video from the baggage claim at a Seattle airport went viral. It shows a package of frozen chicken coming around the carousel, unwrapped. Look at this thing. One guy grabbed it and was like, "Oh wait, these aren't my raw chicken parts. Mine has a black handle." Yeah, sorry. Even worse, the KFC colonel saw that and was like, "Damn, they know the secret recipe. We import our wings through Delta." It is time for our latest installment of Tonight Show polls. Here we go. Tonight Show polls. The first poll asked you, do you think Kanye should change his name to Ye? 50% said no, 50% said yay. The next poll asked, what was your favorite part of your summer? 10% said seeing old friends, 10% said getting out of town, 80% said that week and a half when we didn't have to wear masks. I remember that. This next one asked, what would you do if you were on fire? 60% said stop, drop, and roll. 35% said call someone for help. 5% said film it and start the I'm on fire challenge on TikTok. This next one asks, what's your favorite thing about going to Costco? 15% said the prices. 23% said the samples. 62% said flashing my membership card like I'm in the FBI. Can I come in? I'd just like to ask you a few questions. This next one asks, do you agree with OnlyFans reversing its decision to ban adult material? 25% said yes. 25% said no. 50% said, I'm sorry, what was the name of that site? OnlyFans? Sounds interesting. I've never heard of it before. I presume it's for sports fans, though, right? Because it's certainly not a website that I've ever used by credit card. Of course.
I, of course, never frequent that site, and I'm sure I don't even know what it is. I don't even know what human sexuality is. I'm just watching my sports games on the TV. Have you seen Jeff Bezos' rocket?
That's not Jeff Bezos' rocket.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This next one asks, what is your favorite Mac? 10% said Book Pro. 10% said Book Air. 10% said I. 10% said and cheese. 10% said Fleetwood. 10% said Big. 10% said Glamour. 10% said Macaulay Culkin. 10% said Return of the. 10% said, oh, I use Windows. Interesting. That was an interesting poll. This next one asked, what are your plans for the fall? 20% said going to a wedding. 20% said traveling to Europe. 60% said constantly checking CNN to see if either of those things are still allowed. This last one asked, today is, 10% said Thursday, 90% said I haven't known what date it is since March 2020. There you go. That's all we have for tonight's show. Polls.